My name is Kiarabe Motive, Kia for short. I am originally from Pretoria. I was born in Pretoria, raised in Midrand, and now I'm in the Eastern Eden Vale.
My name is Verona Panda. I'm 31 from Dobsonville, Soweto.
My name is Tebukho, the makeup artist. Well, my name is Tebukho Mateke, but I'm a makeup artist and a fashion designer.
I'm Gonna Lugubega. I go by the name African Princess, and I'm 22 years of age, and I'm from Germiston, Tisneville.
My name is Tepiso Sibisi. I am a social entrepreneur. That's what I do for a living.
All right, my name is Teboho Ndongela. I'm known by my professional name, King B the Great. I am an artist and a director from a company called Easternville Music.
Yeah, my name is Faith Mugema. I'm from Sebokeng in Davao. I'm a plus size model. I'm a plus size pageant founder, and I'm an actress as well.
I don't know, man. Like, I guess growing up dark-skinned was was hard, because you're always compared to your lighter-skinned friends. You get called names.
It wasn't easy, honestly, because I've faced a lot of people calling me names and a lot of people telling me that I'm not pretty. I am the world's most ugliest person on earth just because I'm dark-skinned.
And it obviously works on your confidence. You start looking at yourself differently. You start doubting whether you're beautiful or not. You start feeling like you don't fit in because everyone else around you is told that they're beautiful and you're told otherwise because you're darker than everyone else.
And never mind people, the main problem was within the household. So my mom used to call me Nyaman, right? She used to say Ntwembe, Ntwentwe, and that really impacted my confidence.
I mean, like names like Mnyama Rose, which is very funny now because my mom's name is Rose. So when someone says Mnyama Rose, now I'm just like, okay, like I actually am Mnyama Rose. So.
But at the same time, I somehow blended it. I somehow turned it into something positive in a way, which is toxic, because I ended up saying, you know what, she's preparing me for the world. She's preparing me for people outside. So hence, it never really impacted me that much when somebody outside would say, sesh, it never impacted me because my mom used to call me that at home.
It's phrases like that would make you think, okay, like why isn't my friend who's lighter than me getting called names, or isn't given nicknames that aren't as horrible as mine, You get instances where you show up and they're like, yo, I'll say Mnyama, pego tu Mnyama kanjani,
I've always been chubby. Growing up, sometimes it was tough considering that you think you're playing with your cousins with their toys and you get on a toy and an adult comes by and they're like, yo, you need to get off, you're a bit too heavy for this. It's embarrassing,
It's been quite a lot. Being called fat, being called stodla, and then being expected not to partake in certain sports at school just because of my size. So it's one of the things I had to go through as a big girl growing up.
So there were instances like that where I couldn't play with other kids and their toys. My mom, she was also just always on my case about my weight. And when I look back at the pictures, like my pictures, I wasn't that big. It was just, society perpetuates this idea of how one should look. And this is the biggest that I've been. And I look back at, like I said, I look back at my pictures and I'm like, I can't believe that I thought I was fat then. when I'm a big girl now?
I remember I signed up to play volleyball at school, and the words that came out from that experience were not good, and it resulted in me being cut off the team just because they assumed I couldn't handle being in such an active environment.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you a funny story. So, do you remember that song Bomba We Laga Bicycle? That literally happened to me. We were playing with our bicycles and I fell really hard to the point where I had to just walk home. And I was being accompanied by these kids and they sang all the way from where I fell up until I got home. They're like, Bombo way like a bicycle. That hurt, but like looking back, it's funny, you know. I haven't been called like offensive names, but I hate being catcalled and being like them saying "Audulu." I hate that, you know, or "Stula." It's demeaning the way they say it. But like if you're uplifting me and you're like, "Oh, Dulu, hey Dulu," you know.
I think the fact that I was different from the predominant number of the people in the community, I faced things like being excluded in a lot of things, especially growing up, to say that I could not play with guys because he gets a banana in Sesotho, to say the least.
Because I remember at the time we used to play with like other kids in primary school. Like our teachers used to call us, I don't know what they call it in English, but so you'd be the boy that used to blend in a lot of times with girls because you're not comfortable with the guys. When you're with guys, you don't feel like I'm a guy enough to be here. And when you're with girls, then you need to be pulled over to the guy's side. So you're not comfortable, like you're being pulled all sides, you understand? So it was not nice, but yeah. We made it through.
Yeah, but it sucks. It sucks because I shouldn't have to be brave to walk out of the door. That makes no sense, you know. I shouldn't have to be brave to have gone through a bunch of men who like, I'm fine and you know. But it is what it is, and yeah, I'm proud of myself that I can be myself, because that's really what it's about.
And then you would find that you would be called names, and typically this is what happens everywhere, to say that you are being called offensive names deliberately because you're just different from us. In that sense, we don't regard you as human, you understand? So those are some of the things that I experienced as a child, but I had a way of combating them.
Well, growing up as a gay child, I grew up in the villages, so I cannot say it was actually easy. But at the same time, I grew up in a very small village, in a sense of the critiques that I would get, they wouldn't be as big as people who grew up in the cities, you understand? So there were no like homophobic people to an extent of like trying to kill us or whatever. It was just mild things. But
growing up, I grew up in a township, so I mostly played with boys, I would say. I was very sporty. I connected more with you know, my cousins who are boys. I enjoy those sort of things, and I don't think that I thought much of it. I don't think even anyone thought much of it. And for a long time, even going through primary and high school, I just told myself that I'm just a tomboy. But because I come from a very, 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 very strong religious background, that sort of thing was sort of frowned upon. You wouldn't even imagine as a woman even considering liking another woman. But you know, these are emotions that you wrestle with by yourself.
But at the same time, I can't say it was easy, because you'd grow up in school, you'd get to be expected to behave in a certain way, and as a boy child, you cannot do this, you have to do that, and at the same time, there are certain things that you're not comfortable with, but you just have to force yourself to blend in with the straight people, you understand?
where you're constantly be told that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But you know, your emotions and your body are speaking something else. So there's a lot of confusion that happens, a lot of confusion that happened for me for a very, very long time. I'm talking years, where I even, you know, have children, where I felt strongly that I need to have a heterosexual setup, mother and a father and children, because I always wanted a family. I've always wanted children. So it's only in my late 20s and in my 30s where I started dissecting that to myself and really asking myself the hard questions, like who am I, what do I connect to, where do I see my life being, and it just, that changed completely from very, very heterosexual to what I'm living now, which is a queer experience.